guys, this is Blank Stare Movie Review. Today, me and my friend David here are going to be talking about Blade, very underrated Marvel movie. Not a lot of people talk about enough, to be honest.
I think it's picked up a bit because of the Deadpool craze, because you hear the first rated R Marvel movie, and then you hear someone in our corner of the room. 1998. But
Oh, the film.
yeah, so and again, people of our age group, I feel like we're normally following up with, but what about Blade?
Right, especially in the whole Black Panther thing. Like, nobody ever mentioned Blade. That's a Marvel movie. It's a Marvel character, but he's with Spider-Man, kind of.
And big, especially when you talk about a certain character who's getting a movie within the next couple months.
Oh, yeah. Morbius.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'd also like to go ahead and thank my buddy Fernando here for bringing me on. I'm big fan of movie reviews, and I'm glad he's got it taken off. Especially watched his last couple of reviews. Equilibrium was a pretty interesting one.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
So, what do you want to touch on first? Characters?
So we got Blade, based off, I believe it was the 1970s character in Marvel.
Yeah, I think so. Wesley, played by Wesley Snipes in this movie.
Yeah.
And he owns the role. He owns this role. I think it's big shoes to fill for the new MCU Blade.
Oh gosh, I'm not going to bother messing up his name because if it's not in front of me, I won't say it, but the actor they have lined up for it, I loved as Cottonmouth and Luke Cage, so I'm totally hyped for the new Blade, I really am.
And Wesley Snipes pulls it off.
Especially in the opening scene that summarizes his characters when he's holding up his weapon in a circular room.
Yeah.
And that quick 2-second smile before the switch.
And that's what I really like about this movie is it's very stylistic, and you don't even question why he never gets an ounce of dirt and or blood on him. Never. He just looks cool, and you don't question any of it.
Flex Seal trench coat. That's what it is.
I wish we'd seen more of his raising Blade from a young boy, just to feel that bond, more of that connection. But from their adult relationship that they have in this movie, I thought it was really good because you feel enough. Their two characters don't show a lot of emotion, but you still see how much they care for one another.
Oh, especially when they're not even sharing the room with each other. When they're talking about each other, I feel is when you see it the most. Yeah. Because it's like that brother on brother, father to brother relationship.
What do you think of the doctor? Dr.
Karen.
Karen.
Again, another name I won't attempt to pronounce, but her last name being right. I actually really liked her in that movie. I could be misremembering, but I don't remember her from a lot of other projects. And I kind of wish I had seen her in more, because I feel like she was one of those untapped talents that you saw in one big movie.
Right.
And again, if she did go on, and I'm not going to recognize her, she's just that great an actor. I don't recognize her in
another thing, especially for being a 90s movie, she was not just your typical superhero girlfriend, damsel in distress. She kicks ass.
Didn't have to kiss the lead either.
That's true. I never thought of that. But she beats up her ex-boyfriend, who's a vampire zombie, on her own. Mm-hmm. She escapes. She actually rescues Blade. Blade was the damsel for a little bit there.
Actually, in a lot of ways, more than one, because of the serum she was attempting to create, and she was helpful. She furthered their weaponry. She furthered their own research.
Right, and she never screamed. I don't think did she ever scream?
In pain, thrown down the well. But not, when the zombie vampire that was Quinn, after being burned alive, scare scream.
Right, but not the typical come save me,
damsel in distress.
Right,
almost
exactly.
Never.
And she kicked ass, and she held her own very well in this movie.
Very well.
I never bought that she was in over her head. For a character who got introduced to this world of vampires overnight, she was like, "I'm dealing with it."
Never.
Blade hands her a gun, and she's like, I forgot her exact line, but basically, he's like, "Yeah, I'll pick this up pretty quick. I'll figure it out."
Dang, it was a good line.
It was a good line too, and I'm a fast learner. Is that what it was?
Yes, it was something along. It was right before the there's things worse than them out here tonight. Me. It was right before that, so I remember that.
Yeah.
But she was just great. Actually, it was, I think, just one more thing in this movie that doesn't get talked about a lot, besides, hey, rated our first Marvel movie.
Well, right.
But it was just great. Dinkin Frost, played by Stephen Dorff.
I thought, now, this is a hard one for me, because he comes off as a douchey vampire person who you kind of look at and you're like, how is this guy in charge? He seems like such a douche. But this guy's highly motivated. He is down with the establishment. He is like, you know what? This old ways are done.
He's his own little juggernaut.
Yeah. Why are we pandering to our food? why do we let them in charge of the world when they're just our food? And motivation in this movie, and it's really well. And it's Natty's haircut.
Oh my god. Okay, so I only have one thing to relate when I see his haircut and the way he sometimes walks in like he's in a Japanese cologne commercial. Potent that 98
But
look.
did you like Deacon Frost in this movie, though?
I did.
As the villain, as the main villain.
I viewed him as basically a competent frat. Competent frat boy.
Yep.
Yeah, who learned that, hey, I don't need to do the sports. I have a brain.
Yeah.
So he, I very much enjoyed the way he went about his character. I liked how being one of his first breakout roles, he had to coax Wesley Snipes into pushing him on certain scenes, almost to the point where Wesley Snipes and him had problems on set.
Really? I did not know that.
It was cleared up real quick. I guess they have a good friendship even before filming was finished. But I like that aspect because you can see it. There's almost a stress on him that he has the whole time, but he knows where to aim it.
Another thing I actually really liked about Deacon Frost, maybe going frat boy was the right choice because you're going to have to hold your own screen presence at the same time Wesley Snipes is on camera. Wesley Snipes...
Testosterone, you need it.
Oh my god, yeah. And this guy holds his own in the movie. Not once did I think he was just completely overshadowed by Blade. I thought they would balance each other very well. You have the stoic badass and the frat boy who's also a badass, honestly.
He is. Every threat made is either followed up with a reaction or a knowledge that I have to believe him. And it's really well set up. His right hand / losing his right hand
and
every
hand.
Freaking every freaking
right
scene.
hand twice, left hand once.
I just got him back, man. Quinn. Quinn, Dinkin Frost, Karen Whistler, Wesley Snipes, the big bad.
The big bad.
He
owns this role. Let's not talk about the third one.
No.
Because we don't want to turn people off to this franchise.
No.
So, getting into the movie. This movie starts off with, we'll explain how Blade got his powers. He's a vampire who can walk in daylight.
Yes.
Because his mother was bitten by a vampire while she was pregnant with Blade. And so Blade was born with all their strengths, none of their weaknesses, but he still has that thirst for blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so he meets Wesley eventually, and Wesley creates this formula that kind of just suppresses his urge to drink blood. And he goes on this, so from childhood, Blade is trained by Wesley just to take out vampires. And he is very effing good at this.
And again, I could be off on this, but those were things that were left on this cut room floor, basically.
Yeah.
And let's get to...
the opening scene. The blood raid.
The literal cut room floor.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So this scene is great. You want to take this one?
Or
I'll set the scene if you like.
There you go. Yeah.
So opening is so we have in present time after you see Blade being born, it cuts to present time, and you see this couple going to a rave, and you don't know this, but you catch on very early. It's very obvious that something's not right here.
Oh yeah, the mood is great. I love the setup of this crazy chick. It was amazing.
Yeah, and they're basically in a lamb to slaughter. And so this guy he's with a hot chick. He doesn't know where he's going, but they end up going to this rave in a slaughterhouse. So the first red flag is the guy completely misses, but I guess
I don't fault the guy for his reaction either. I feel like I'd be in the same boat.
Yeah, and so you see all these new age vampires there just partying, and real quick he actually bumps into Deacon Frost. If you blink, you miss it, but I
forgot about that. Yeah, real quick, the Japanese slow motion commercial with flickering lights. That's exactly what I think of. That's the exact. But it is a great little thing, and
so there's like how many 200 vampires in this rave just partying?
Oh gosh,
like
at
200
least
or more. And this is one of the best character introductions that I've seen in a movie. This sets up 1, Blade looks badass. 2, Blade's been at this a while that people know him by reputation. And 3, these vampires who you think are scary monsters who have nothing to fear immediately half run out, like over half just like, fuck this.
We don't have time to die. Yeah. Is basically how they look at it.
They show up and everyone goes from being badasses trying to kill this one human to, let's all back up for a minute. And those who are closest to the exit, let's all start heading out. Because pretty sure that's Blade.
Oh, yeah.
How do you mistake him for anybody else? I don't know.
Silver stakes hanging off his legs. I don't know how you don't see the shotgun under the trench coat. The entrance was amazing. Again, as you pointed out, he was there. He had to walk that far into the club and not one drop of blood from this blood rave on his clothes.
The sprinklers are raining blood.
Oh, God, I
his
loved it.
shoes are squeaky clean.
I think he was the one who turned off the blood drains.
That makes sense.
I don't have time to clean off the stains.
Yeah.
I love the action in this, especially even with the original CG animation that came out of the late 90s. And again, they didn't put a lot of the production into the CG. It was into where they filmed location at a big-ass shampoo plant. Most of the filming was there. Dinkin Frost's bunker,
Really?
the factory where Blade and them hang out, and then, of course, where the Blood Raves hang out. This is all one big shampoo factory. But the fighting's amazing. The space is so open, so it leaves it open for wide camera angle shots of the cinematography. You don't miss a thing. And then when you come up on the quick shots where the shotguns are involved, you have a little bit of shaky cam, but it's that there's an explosion going off, and then we're back to wide shots. So you blink and the bat's gone. It's a really good fight.
Which does a really good job of showing how outnumbered Blade is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's irrelevant. It's the equivalent of Anakin killing all those young Padawans.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll have to remember that. Jeez. I think one of the next best part in this comes out with the personality of Blade. Gosh, Anakin. When he already sees that I've killed enough of you, so anyone who's hung around clearly is the stupid one.
Honestly.
And I'm gonna smile about it as I throw my nifty tools. And that's one thing as a big fanboy and child. I wish he would have used his. I forgot the specific name.
The crossbow?
No, the boomerang. The signature thing you see in all the posters.
Once.
But I would have loved to see it.
Yeah.
So much more, because in the second movie it doesn't look bad, and in the third movie there's a really crappy throw it down a hallway scene. I would have loved to see it more in this movie, because you could tell they had the filming right, that they didn't need to over analyze on the CG.
Yeah.
And again, I'm nitpicky. It was just an awesome weapon, and if you would have used it more, I would have been giddy. A little girl in the corner.
Also, something I never noticed my entire life till recently, we're rewatching this the other day,
Oh no! Rated R. Remember, this is
Rated
Rated R.
Front and center of the camera, not even the background. The kid is the main focus of the camera. We have Quinn, the vampire Quinn. A vampire sucking something.
Being a goat. He's being the goat of the party. He is. That's why he walks up to Blade like he thinks he can.
And this is a Marvel movie. Before nowadays, that would never fly.
Howard the Duck.
Oh, fuck that movie. Anyway.
Sorry, I had to destroy you.
100% I forgot that even existed.
What movie? So, Quinn, after basically everyone's all said and taken care of, the trap on his sword, I didn't notice, but when he does take it out in the original, kill everyone in the empty pool area, watch his thumb. He does deactivate it. Just real quick. I love the canon in that. So
I remember him flipping it around and doing that line in the blood. Or is that that's that scene, right?
Yeah.
Or is that later?
Flips it out real quick, and then as everyone comes up, he draws his perimeter circle, his swordsman circle, and depending on your actual training and or let's go with fanatical fictional, it's basically you enter this space, you're dying no matter
Zorro
what.
has that.
Yes,
Zorro
Enter Your
have
Sorrow.
that.
That's another movie for another time.
Yeah.
I love that. Anthony Hopkins playing Hispanic.
So, what do you think? What do you think about Deacon Frost's plan? Because it's hit and miss for me. I like it. I just don't like the final part of it. But let's tell everybody what the evil plot is.
I believe it's a little convoluted only because of the time it takes, and when you bring in, let's say, if you do go into, hey, let's see how old Blade really is. Let's see how long he's really been around. You would have to take into account that Deacon Frost has been around for much longer, and he's only recently been part of the councils, as best we can tell. He's pissed off enough people for being the new guy.
Yeah.
So the plan itself is almost a little hard to believe, because it would mean he had access to that information he didn't have access to until he was part of the council.
Well, he has that fat vampire who gives him information.
True.
So maybe he befriended him.
True.
But my problem with so let's explain the plan. The plan is for Deacon Frost wants to kill the council of vampires who are 100% purebloods, who look at the half-bloods like Deacon as just kind of like you're kind of
grunts.
trash.
You're grunts. You're here to help us and just keep our
existence. Foot
existence.
soldiers, so when we need you, you're there.
Yeah.
But, so Deacon Frost wants to kill all these council vampires. No, not just kill them, but he needs them for, and this is what I hate in movies, is rituals. I fucking hate rituals, man. I hate this. I know this vampire, so there's a lot of lore with it.
You mean plot fodder?
Yeah. He has to get these vampires in the room, 12 of them specifically, and just so happens that there's 12 council members. And so he
killed a few of them too.
Yeah, and he killed one in the council room. How do we still
have enough?
Yeah,
because I thought
I tried counting them in the scene.
Real hard,
but it's real hard because the camera jumps a lot, and it never for a quick second it shows all of them.
Well, they never go back to certain members too. Even when they're pulling them all out of their skeletons and stuff, they're not at great angles, and I'm pretty sure the number's off as well.
I think so too. But the reason this plan doesn't make any sense to me is because we have Deacon, who's all about the new age vampire, a new way of doing things. But he wants to resurrect a vampire god.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay, man. So you want to go to new ways, but you're resurrecting OG ways. It's just kind of weird to me.
And if I had to say anything about the La Magra, the blood god, it would be that I like how loose it doesn't tie down the world. So, like, hey, the La Magra is a blood god. He's not the reason we're here. He's not Dracula. He's not this.
Right.
They leave out Draco. I think it was something that could have been used a whole lot better. I don't think we necessarily needed the ritual that we got. Actually, to refrain from talking about the ending just yet, after we build the whole fight, Quinn gets burned alive.
Oh yeah.
So to kind of keep in order of the motion of the ocean here, Quinn gets burned alive and goes to a hospital where we get
morgue.
The morgue.
Yeah,
sorry.
the morgue.
Which actually was at the hospisptal. Was that near?
When
he leaves, there's an
emergency room. They were doing an autopsy
room,
table,
and they're on the 10th fucking floor.
Yeah.
Remember when Blade gets the roof? They're on the 10th fucking floor.
And he just throws their...
Yeah. Sorry. Introducing Karen.
Right. The introduction of Karen is it's well done enough. The introduction didn't really stand out to me.
Mm.
The horror, I kind of thought she was just gonna be another damsel in distress at this point, but unfortunately they went away from that real fast.
Strangely and forgot the word for it, but positively disappointed in that. I was glad I was disappointed I didn't get a damsel in distress aside from her immediate attack.
Right.
Did you know that in that set when Quinn attacks her, he latches his jaw to her? He actually dislocated his jaw in filming.
Oh, really?
Had to go to the ER in what he was wearing.
Oh, wow.
And had to give... It didn't have to, but I'm going to say he had to, because if I was wearing it, broken jaw or not, I would have walked into the ER.
Yeah.
Walks in and scared the crap out of everyone. A few employees believe they actually had a real-life vampire on their hands. And this is a good year and a half before the movie's even released. So,
right.
It was just great. And it just goes to show, if anything, the makeup department was on point.
It was.
So...
Just to kind of move this along to, because I really want to talk about is Wesley and his demise.
Oh gosh. Okay. So what I call the failed sacrifice, because sequels, but it was one of the more emotional / even with the non-reactions that Wesley Snipe gives us the minute he utters a word or turns even his eyes with the weird eye contacts, you feel it.
Oh yes, you do.
I've never had someone in a movie die and call someone a pussy and feel so bad for it. But I understand. It was a real touching scene. The video and torment that Deacon leaves behind for him is much on par with what his character and his goons do. So everything that almost happens aside from the ritual, you believe happening with these fictional characters every time. Hey, Quinn's a part of this. I believe this happening.
Yeah, Quinn was there.
Oh yeah, they were all there to tear him apart. And leaving him there to turn to give Blade the choice on whether or not to kill him or leave him to kill other people.
Yeah,
was something you see now, but I don't think was monopolized until Blade did it in this type action movie. Heck, I've seen it used in numerous comic book based shows like Preacher now, where it's basically used as a threat and form of torture against someone else. And this movie, I think, is the best version of it. You feel it in every second, even as Blade's walking away. I as a kid, again, movies resonate with me because my family's big on entertainment. I teared up a little bit.
Well, also, I do like... You can tell how much Wesley loves Blade because Wesley chooses to do this himself instead of putting it on Blade.
Waiting for him to turn around.
Instead of... Yeah, right. Well, he doesn't just give Blade the gun and say, hey, kill me. He tells Blade, I'm not going to put that on you. You just walk away. I'll do it myself. And you don't have to do this, you know, and which is a great thing. Like,
really?
a lot, yeah, I love
it.
Yeah,
this movie is really great. Just talking about it even after viewing it this last couple days it's a really good movie.
This movie does not show a lot of emotions on its sleeve, but it is there.
It's impactful and it works when they use it. And then right after, this is what that movie does. We used it correctly. We used it when we absolutely needed to. And now Blade's got fuel for this action scene we have coming up.
Right, yeah.
And we're not just ready to see the action, we're motivated in following it, so we see every detail, and now he has this new weapon, which Karen provided.
Yeah, right, the little blue liquid, what was it?
I believe it was an enzyme? A coagulant.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's right, yeah, blood clot.
Basically originally designed to, rephrase, in attempts to help find a serum to help fight his thirst, maybe even cure Blade, she unintentionally creates this vampire exploder deploder.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
The fights he uses it in, especially, I do like how he didn't use it until the end of the action scenes with everyone with those last two vampires.
Well, he used it on 2 guards.
Yeah,
he used it on 2 guards, and then which good thing he saved the ammo.
Yeah, and budget. Right.
The fight scene, the last fight scene, Blade gets captured.
Yeah, after Mother Dearest.
Yeah, his mother captures him, and he starts to... the whole movie, you're led to believe that Blade's whole vendetta is because they killed his mother. He never had a chance at a normal life. But turns out his mother's actually alive and is in bed with Deacon Frost. And I didn't like that Blade's chemistry with his mother was very glossed over, which is another reason I think he's more out to kill vampires than any other motivating factor.
If I wanted to be lighthearted on the situation, it was 2 steps from a Pornhub video when they're in the room with each other.
Very awkward chemistry.
Very
sexually...
even when he's locked up for the ritual, that was even worse.
Yeah. When he breaks free of the ritual and chokes his mom up against the wall was kind of like... Yeah, I was kind of like...
you could pick at it all day.
I almost thought, did his mom actually die and Deacon Frost to mess with his head got a lookalike?
Which would have been better,
yeah,
right?
That's kind of what I was going through my head.
But nope, they played through it and they never...
Yeah, because he kills her, like, no second thoughts.
That, and then they lean towards, they don't say it outright, but they lean towards... No, they do say this. He turned her so he could have his half-breed for this ritual, which brings up some of the plot holes that I have with...
that's what I hate about rituals. Very specific. You need a half-blood. Yeah, and it just so happens Blade is the only half-blood around. But why can't you just bite another pregnant lady and get another half-blood?
Which...
And here's also another thing I didn't really care for. That kind of didn't make sense to me. One, Deacon Frost is already immortal, right?
Yes.
Okay, so getting the blood god in him makes him more immortal because now when he gets cut in half, his bad CGI blood regenerates himself. But he's more powerful. He's stronger and he's faster and everything. But like you're just one guy, man.
Yeah, it's see, this is where the ritual part comes in, and this is where the original cut, which none of their test audience in 97, I think it was late 97, early 98, enjoyed at all, was the original cut after the ritual. He not only gets these powers, but he's immersed by, he's a big figure of blood, basically. In the CG and the test footage, it's 98.
So maybe it's the whole thing to have pure bloods follow him.
Yes.
And everyone understands he's the leader, but that's not explained in the movie at all.
Well, and this is also what it's supposed to do, and they did it in, like, the world will be covered in darkness once he's summoned. Like, there's that little line when he's reading it.
Don't understand how, but sure.
Yeah, but basically once he comes and he has a vessel via Frost, the world is supposed to be blanketed in darkness, vampires are supposed to become the majority, and the world is an apocalypse-scape, which there are light scenes of in the original cut.
Oh, okay.
And Blade even fights this massive blood monster. It looks kind of, again, early CG, and they didn't fully go through it, so they got rid of it. When he heals and everything like that, that's how the blood was supposed to look all around him. So it was supposed to look like a lava lamp, kind of.
Yeah, it looked bad. It looked bad.
90s, and I'm glad they came back for reshoots to do the sword fight that was not in the original script. It did turn out being really cool, and then we got our fun little... Also... Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Blade has a lot of good one-liners that any other character tries to use, you're gonna come off looking like a dork. Touch on is after Blade escapes, after he gets rescued, he comes out badass, supercharged, and I love the way he took out Quinn. This whole movie, he's been fighting Quinn left and right.
Get out of my way.
And so Quinn comes up to him, and Blade, just with a single spin move, slices his neck. Done.
Well, and now here's the bittersweet part in this. The bittersweet part in this is if Blade was really annoyed by Quinn that much this entire time, could have done that this entire time.
Yeah. Quinn was not a fighter.
No, he was not.
He was an idiot. He was a hillbilly vampire.
He is the crew. Deacon Frost is my man. I'm the guy in the back supporting his podcast. He is the crew. That's all Quinn is. But I like the fight in this. I actually like the anger in the fight leading up to Dinkin Frost, because when he literally kicks a guy who's on the ground, he launches him across the room.
Right.
He tears out a guy's throat who I'm positive was human but still turned into ash.
All right, so getting to the last one-on-one fight. What do you think, Deacon Frost, Blade, final showdown?
I think the choreography was good, especially where you could tell Stephen Dorff was holding a sword for a first time in that capacity. It wasn't too over showy until they got to the shaky cam. I'm a vampire. I can move at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
But again, what wasn't bad. It was just one of those things. Well, you know what a vampire can do. It was still convincing once he popped up to the camera and launched Wesley snipes across what I like to call the final stage. Because all that is a big old platform they fight on for the most part. What did you think of the absolute accuracy of his security measured sword landing in that broken part of rock to grab the serum?
I buy it. Yeah, and this is why I buy it, is because Blade is such a cool character. He looks like the guy who can literally everything first try, he's done it. He looks like the guy who get basketball just without looking, throw it over his back and just throw
light a match with his stubble.
Yeah, he's just cool. So I was
can't.
like, everything he did, I was, you know what? If anyone could pull this off, it's gonna be Blade. Also, the fight scene, my thoughts on it was fine. It wasn't that memorable to me. I don't remember a lot of it. I remember the bad parts. That's the thing. The bad CGI sticks out to me more than the actual good. Like,
I feel like there wasn't too much of it though. That's the thing you remember. So it is there.
The CGI does not break the movie.
No, it does not in any way. It doesn't even it doesn't even date it.
No, it doesn't take away from it at all. But
honestly, it's still you're not looking away. You feel every moment. You know what's going on.
But coming down to the to spoiler alert, Deacon Frost's death. There's spoilers into the whole thing. I forgot to say that in the beginning, but it's a fucking 20-year-old movie, so whatever.
Oh yeah,
but I thought it was, I do like the way Blade kills him in the movie is he has that new formula that Dr. Karen made for him, and I did like the scene where Blade tries to reverse psychology him into using it. When he grabs it and he's like, "What is this? Your medicine or whatever it is?" And he's like, "Why don't you try it? You might like it." And I thought for a second he might try it.
Oh, dude, I would have loved that. I wouldn't have even been mad that
that he takes himself out.
Oh yeah, now we have all these council members who just want Blade dead, so now the only person who needs him alive is dead. Yeah. But I really think that would have been an interesting death, and I wouldn't have even been mad.
I wouldn't have been mad either. But I did like the whole idea of, and this goes back to how cool Blade is. The way he just flings all these needles, I guess.
The syringes.
The syringes. Yeah. He throws all these syringes at Deacon Frost, and it starts to blow him up. But the last one, like I said, most characters could try this, and it'll come off cheesy and stupid and unnecessary, but Blade does it, and I'm like, you could have thrown it, but I like your style. Yeah. He just throws it up in the air, does a spin kick, and kicks the syringe right in the forehead, right between the eyes. This movie, it's one of the best superhero movies out there, to be honest with you.
It is.
And it's a 90s movie, and it's very well done. David S. Goyer wrote a great script. Most of the things in this movie, there's another thing I like in this movie, is that every scene in this movie, I don't think anything you cut out, to be honest. Because it moves along such a well pace, and every scene leads
not
to the
with
next
the final
thing.
result. No, you couldn't take out any more, or it really would. You'd feel it. You'd feel it every scene. And
everything progresses the story forward. None of it feels like let's take a time out from the story to do something else. All of it is completely 100% necessary, especially for a character you almost get no background on. You're here's Blade. like I said back in the introduction of Blade, here's Blade. He's a vampire badass who kills vampires, and he's cool as hell. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and even if you didn't need that much more, they also simplified what he has to do. I don't need stakes. I don't need holy water. Garlic helps and silver. We simplified it. It's probably the most expensive way to kill freaking vampires with these only 2 weaknesses.
Right.
But even then, you could see everything delivers well. You can follow it. Even being a rated R movie, I saw this before I was a teen. My family, which is a religious family, was okay with this. So I think it's just because it knows what the movie is.
Right.
You hopefully wouldn't let a 4-year-old watch this randomly and abruptly. Maybe in a
I'm not gonna lie, I would let my 3-year-old watch this.
There you go. See, that's just it's almost wondering why it's even a rated R movie, because even the blood looks so fake that
it does. Yeah.
It's almost like how alien movies get away with being a PG-13 movie. The
because
blood is green,
blood. Yeah,
and it looks so fake. Why would we ever misconstrue it? Well, Blade did the same thing. It's just red.
It's just red and it looks fake, but it's cool. Also. So long story short, I mean, I think that's pretty much covers all of our thoughts on this movie. It's overall, I don't have a rating system again, but if you couldn't tell, we really enjoy this movie. Mm-hmm. You can make up a rating system right here if you like. Go wherever the hell you want. It doesn't matter.
You did it in 2 to 3 videos that I've seen so far, and I liked it because I'm just an all-around nerd. If we haven't been able to tell, Justice League system, and because this movie is near and dear to me, I don't have many problems with it, if any at all. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 7 on the JL.
Okay, yeah. To me, this movie is I hate ratings because I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 7 because there's nothing I don't really like about this movie.
It feels biased saying it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels weird saying it because a 7 out of 7 for me is Dark Knight, and Dark Knight's way better than this movie. But this movie, for what it does, for what it is, it executes it well. Even the ritual, I hate rituals in movies, but in this movie, I don't mind it because it's basically just a backdrop for the last fight scene.
If you can't help but keep watching it for whatever reason, especially in an enjoyable, I won't say for whatever reason because there's a lot of things you can't take your eyes from that are horrible. Toxic Avengers one. You can't take it away. You're smiling all the time, and if you could rewind it to watch a certain movie, if not the whole movie, 7 out of 7.
Yeah, man. Came out of this movie, it's like, it'd be cool if I could be Blade for Halloween. Wesley Snipes Blade. Wesley Snipes.
Hey, I'm from the Bay Area, and I was raised in a real integral mixed community. When this came out, I was Blade for a couple Halloweens.
Oh, were you? Okay,
I'm not even kidding. I was hey, I'm Blade, and I'd get but you're not black. I'm wearing a costume. Who cares? And this isn't the whole I don't see color argument. It's just he was that big of a character.
Really cool in this movie.
Oh, he was. Heck, one of my all-time favorite movies.
So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching the whole video, and come back next time. We'll do another review. Hopefully Blade 2 one of these days. Get to it soon because the movie's off the charts.
I'd love to.
So, all right. So again, David, thank you for being on here. No problem. So next time, guys, like, subscribe, and leave comments, please.
Morbius was in a deleted scene.